What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast, and I hope you guys are having a phenomenal week so far. But I honestly wanted to just jump right into the podcast topic. Usually, I come in and give a little bit of a ramble about my life or some updates on some stuff. But honestly, I just want to talk about the power of self belief, the power of belief in general, and how nothing in your life can come to fruition without it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because every single one of us wants to be better financially, better physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever your faith may be in that realm looks like. But we all want to be better, and there's nothing, no one in this world doesn't think about that. Some of us take action on it, some of us don't take action on it. But nonetheless, every single one of us wants to be better at something or a better version of us within the life that we're building. And none of that comes to fruition without belief. And I know it's incredibly hard to believe in something that you've never seen, and I'll break that down in a bit. I know it's incredibly hard to believe in something you've never felt before, and all these different things. To give you context, I'll just share a little bit about what I mean for me personally. But belief is stemmed through like faith in religion, spirituality is that you have faith, you believe in something more. So belief and faith are kind of on the same tone, same frequency, if that makes sense. But nothing in your life that gets better happens without belief unless you're given something or you fall into an opportunity where you're given something. Anything that you want to do for yourself, let's talk about fitness, and I can speak for myself, is when you start your fitness goal, you want to look better, you want to feel better, and you want to act better in terms of how you look and feel, in terms of how you market yourself as a physical being. And in order to do that, you have to have belief. You got to believe in the process. You got to believe that it's capable. And 9 times out of 10, we don't know what that looks like. Same thing when it comes to school. Like, we believe in our education, we believe in the time we're putting in that's going to give us this expected life that we're going towards. Just like when you're a good person in a relationship, you believe that your intentions are good, so you're going to receive that good. And if you're doing that, you deserve to be receiving that good energy back. But sometimes we don't. So the reason why I say that is because it starts with belief. And the more you can understand how much belief you need in every area of your life, that's the foundation for anything you want to change in your life. Because prime example for me, from a physical standpoint, I believed in more just based on the fact that I was like, you're putting in the work. So I believed that there was a version of me out there that I could build throughout the course of the gym and put in the work and put in the time and energy, and eventually it happened. So that belief is what started the fire. That belief is what kept me anchored through the days that I want to track nutrition, the days that I want to go to training, and even me sitting here right now, I'm 31. Did my first program when I was 21, and even when I was 17, 18 in college and like all those things, like I didn't see anything from a physical standpoint come to fruition, but I still believed that it was possible. I still had that belief there and that faith that if I put the right intentions forward, it's going to happen. And that's the key thing you guys want to take away from what I'm saying, is because I'm going to relate it to mental, I'm going to relate it to career and all these things, but the belief. But you got to have that belief as your anchor. You got to have that belief no matter how fucking difficult it gets, no matter how much turmoil you're going through, no matter how heavy and burdened you feel with your emotional state and the things that you're going through. That belief is what keeps that flicker alive, that flicker of the fire. And then it's up to you to make sure it turns into an inferno, into a wildfire of positivity. And that's another whole other conversation. But when it comes to the gym, it's like you believe that there's a version of you that's capable of looking and feeling better. So that's what gets you started. That's what keeps you committed. And that's what makes you change. The more proof of concept that you get that you are progressing and feeling and looking better and get that validation, you have more belief. You grow in that areas. Same when it comes to like your career. Like, every single one of us wants to make more money. That's a fact. Every single one of us. If someone was like, here's $1 million for X, Y, and Z job, every single one of us would fucking take it. So when it comes to making more money, having a more rewarding career and fulfilling career, like, you have to have belief it's there, or you're never gonna get it. Like, how can you expect something to come into your life if you don't believe it's even possible? You know what I mean? And same thing with your career. Like, for me, it's a little bit different because I did mentor programs. I did college and university, but they didn't do much for me. Obviously, I shouldn't say it that way. I got a lot of experience and I wouldn't be here without it. But from what I'm doing now, most of my stuff came from mentorship programs and one-on-one coaching and training from various different people. So I had a different belief with the education system. So like, even that in itself, like, I had to have a ton of confidence and just risk on my own belief within the non-traditional educational systems. And that I lost friends from that. I had resistance with like work from my opinions on that, my beliefs I should say. And even just certain things in life put me in a different box because I didn't believe in the traditional educational systems from going to college, university. Because I did that, I got a job, and I was still stunted. I was still stuck. I wasn't as fulfilled and rewarded. So I had to believe in a different route. So I believed in mentorship programs and one-on-one coaching. And as soon as I did that, I literally grew my coaching business, grew my podcast, I grew myself in so many different ways mentally because I had the exact things I needed to get like for what I was looking for in life. And all of that came from me believing in that was possible. Like for me to get to the mentorship programs and get access to these people, it took like 2 probably solid years of just believing that there was something out there, as long as I kept putting myself in positions to accumulate positive energy, accumulate positive opportunities. I didn't get no return on investment immediately, but that belief is what kept me anchored. And I ended up, seeing a lot of these goals to fruition because I believed them into existence. Now, to make it even deeper and a little bit heavier, like when you are dealing with mental stuff, like me, prime example, I had a conversation with a couple of people about this the other day. Like I used to be riddled with anxiety, riddled with depression. When I was 23, I literally thought, I was like, I'm gonna die of 45 or heart attack. I'm just gonna party every weekend, do drugs, I just didn't give a fuck. I had no belief and no faith that my future could look any other way other than that. Because in my opinion, I everything I believed into at that point didn't turn out the way I wanted to go. I was making decent money, but I wasn't happy. I was super depressed. I had like all these things going on. I was addicted to things. I was just fucked up. I had no flicker of belief. And the reason why I say flicker is because on your darkest days, you're gonna feel like there's no point in continuing. There's your darkest days, you're gonna want to fold and just be a victim to your patterns you understand, which is fucking A-okay sometimes, because at the end of the day, you only know what you know. But when you start to believe in yourself and you get that little flicker of hope, that little flicker of faith, that little flicker of belief, it's just an incredible thing that if you can tune into it and really just listen to yourself and trust yourself. And that's why it's so important to get that validation through believing in things and watching them come to fruition and making sure you reflect on that so you have more confidence in your intuition, your belief systems, things like that. But when it comes to emotions, it's the same concept, just it's a lot more, I guess, layered. There's a lot more layers, there's a lot more things you got to go through. There's a lot more emotions. The burdens and the heaviness of these things are there. And then we have memories that, bring up certain things that maybe you haven't thought about in a few years or past, whatever it may be. There's experiences in life that bring out these things. So when it comes to believing in a higher power for your emotional state, it's incredibly hard. And, for me, I was depressed. I literally, I was 45, I was going to die of a heart attack. I was honestly just a piece of shit of a human being. I don't want to take that out of context because people think that, people tell me I'm hard on myself, which I am. But again, at the end of the day, I just wasn't remotely close to the man I wanted to become. So I didn't believe in that version of me for years. I was like, whatever, fuck it. And then eventually, as I started to learn about love, started to learn about hate, started to, believe in faith more in terms of God, spirituality, more religion, and, God love, God fucking will, and Emma stayed around to make sure she embedded that into my brain, that it just, had this flicker of, hey, I do deserve more. And it's yeah, sure, life took me at one point down a route that I lost that belief, I lost that hope, I lost that faith and hate in my life. But once I reignited that little flame, once I reignited that belief in systems and oh shit, maybe I can be a better man, maybe I can be a better human, maybe I can cure my depression, maybe I can cure my anxiety, maybe I can understand the OCD symptoms I got from PTSD and all these things, maybe I can understand it. That little bit of belief, just maybe embrace it. And it was incredibly fucking hard, but every single time there was a subject, an experience, a conversation, or anything that came to, do I fold or do I stand tall for my depression, my anxiety, my confidence in who I think I am? I had to stand tall, and it was incredibly fucking hard. There was memories, there was relationships, there was experiences, there was turns in my life that I had to review and think about and express and learn more about myself within those situations. Was I a good person? Was I a bad person? And, it's incredibly hard from an emotional standpoint to stay anchored on your belief in terms of why you're dealing with this, because once you start spiraling and start going crazy and thinking about shit, for me it was depression. I share a lot about mom, dad, and all these things. So if you understand a little bit of context of my family, it was hard for me to believe in a good relationship with my mom, or a good relationship with my dad, or a good relationship in general, or healthy, all these different things. So for me to figure that out, I had to go through a lot of awareness of all the relationships in my life as to where they weren't in terms of where I wanted them to be. And that's incredibly hard to stay focused on. It's incredibly hard to, keep anchored in your own mind as you're going through the turmoil of it, because it's incredibly heavy to deal with. But if you can keep your belief in there and understand that, there's purpose to this turmoil, there's purpose to the hurt, there's purpose to embracing the perspectives and shit, then that's when you can start to accumulate those good relationships, understand what your boundaries are, understand what causes you depression or depressive symptoms, or understand what gives you anxiety, what makes you feel anxious and gives you animosity towards life, because none of these things go away 100%. Once you've experienced things in life, you're gonna always experience them to a degree, because you have receptors sensitive to those experiences. No different than me with a car accident. when I hear tires squeal or loud ass fucking noises, like I still get jumpy, I still get a little scared or nervous, but that's just because it's genetically modified my fucking central nervous system. Not genetically, but it altered me. Do you know what I mean? So that's an experience. So it's just something that I'm more aware of. Same with depression, anxiety. If you fall victim to negative self patterns that just, you know, no, don't make you feel your best, like all these things are never going to go away 100%. But if you can anchor belief within it and build around that, then you're going to be able to build a lot more fulfillment around those things. Because I still get depressive symptoms. I still get anxious sometimes. You know, I still have trouble with confidence and all those different things. But how loud is it now compared to what it used to be? Like now it's just like a small little whisper. And if anything, if you've been here for a while, you know, when you start to hear those things of your old selves or old versions of yourself creep up, that's just a sign that you're overwhelmed and stressed. You need to take a step back, nurture your soul, and, you know, enjoy life a little bit. So it doesn't go away entirely, but if you can anchor a lot of your confidence, your self-assurance, self-actualization around what you believe in, and have confidence around what you believe in, I can promise you're never going to be in a position that's like ever wrong. And I don't want you to take that as an arrogant thing, but when you know your intentions are good, you know you believe in like the betterment of yourself and the people around you, then you can trust and have faith that the positive outcome at most times is going to come out. Not all the time, but you're going to have way more positive experiences to grow and develop yourself from a mental, physical, emotional, spiritual level than negative, if that makes sense, you know? So belief is honestly the biggest thing that changed my life, is just believing. Even, you know, the biggest thing with that is too, is you don't gotta know what it looks like. You don't gotta know what you're gonna look like in the best shape of your life. You don't gotta know how you're gonna make more money. You don't gotta know how you're gonna find people in your life that love you and fulfill you and give you the energy that you deserve. You don't know how to know all that stuff, but what you gotta know is, if you at least believe in it, you're opening the door to that opportunity to allow that energy in. Regardless if you believe in energy, God, religion, whatever the fuck it may be, if you're at least you have a perspective around it to embrace it, that right there is going to double that for you at least. And then eventually, as you accumulate a little bit of wins and patterns and realize these things and reflect, you're going to realize how much that little flame of belief in yourself, even if it's very tiny, not right now, and you're going to grow it up to be a massive thing so you feel a lot more fulfilled and full of joy, you're going to realize how much of an impact that has on the smallest things. Like, and the smallest things from, you know, I can believe I can push myself in this set. You know, I can believe I can have the best day of my fucking life. You know, I believe and I can be the most fulfilled and rewarding person. And even if you're having a conversation, challenging somebody on your beliefs and all these different things, you can still believe that the betterment of that conversation, even if it does become a little bit conflicting, that it's the betterment of it's going to be there. Do you know what I mean? And that's why belief is so powerful, because if you don't have belief, you don't have anything. Like, you don't have anything. Like, you don't, literally is empty. There's nothing there. So it's like, at that point, you're not really doing anything for any purpose. You're not doing anything other than just being a part of something that you don't even understand. That's how, when you don't have belief or purpose, you fall victim to negative patterns. You know, people around you influence you more. You know, you don't really fulfill yourself because you're just going with the flow, letting life take you. And it's incredibly hard to break out of these patterns. It's incredibly hard to be aware of these patterns. But at the end of the day, when you know your belief is anchored into your betterment of your soul and the betterment of the people around you, and you start to listen more and you start to trust yourself, it's all going to lay itself out in front of you. The beginning is the hardest, is finding that belief and really anchoring into yourself. But again, you don't got to know anything other than just feel it. Just tell yourself you believe in it. Even if you fucking lie to yourself, eventually that shit will turn over and you'll start to accumulate some success and some fulfillment. Because I know for me, with getting this life out, I wrote it all down on paper and didn't believe any of it. But I knew I had belief in my work ethic, so I was like, I'm going to at least try my best to believe in the processes to build this life. And then literally within 9 to 12 months, I was in a different atmosphere than I was. You know what I mean? So a lot of things can change quickly when you just act on the belief. And again, you don't have to explain it or understand it. You just got to know it's there and at least anchor it into your fucking soul, because every single one of us deserves to feel that way, is to believe in themselves. And, you know, that just opens up on so many doors for love, you know, fulfillment, joy, peace, happiness, and just finding what really fucking makes you your happiest, you know. But that's all I got. You know, I appreciate you guys all as per usual for tuning in. And, you know, if there's anything you take away from this, believe in yourself, believe in everything that you're doing in life. And as long as you have that on the back end of your foundation when you lead into the day for whatever it is you got going on, I can promise you that at least, you know, statistically speaking, on the back end of that, you're going to see more success than not. So I appreciate you all. Keep leading from the front and set no standards. Let's fucking go.